Hey, Slash I do Buckaroos. How the heck are you? So I'm about 2 to 3 hours earlier than typical on Tuesday. So I didn't have to work per se, but I wasn't exactly off. I had jury duty. So I had the day off from work. But anyways, I could have started a couple hours ago, but I had some things I wanted to do. I had to get dinner finished and then I got busy researching something. So anyway, long story short, here we are now. It was hoping to come on about 5:30. It didn't make it till about 7. But anyways, it's earlier than 9:30 to 10, which is typically when I come on late night Tuesday. So I thought I'd do a early evening Tuesday, I guess, or evening Tuesday. I guess it's not that early now, is it? See how we're coming here. Looks like we're lined up. In case you're not sure, no, I'm not really in this nice little pub behind me. Just trying to create a mood, man. Just trying to create a mood. So I've got a beer here to start with. From Minocqua Brewing Company. It's the Resistance, a Pilsner for True Patriots. So get over here where I can read this. On November 5th, 2024, America. Actually, I don't even want to read all that because we know what happened. Anyway, I'm going to read this last bit there is that in our darkest hours, these leaders joined hands with American patriots who believed in decency, democracy, and equal justice under the law to resist tyranny. It kind of feels like where we are at this moment. It's 4.8%, very much a classic Pilsner. Let me pick it up and take a swig. My first alcohol of the day, believe it or not. If on days I can start early, I don't for some reason. Oh, gosh, that's a nice beer. I'll set that down for a sec. I did pour me a couple ounces of some whiskey, though, as well. And again, along those same lines, it's the Apple Brandy Barrel Finish Burrow Bourbon, straight bourbon whiskey from Republic Restoratives Distillery. From the neighborhood bars to the corner stores, from the front steps to the blocks we call home, Burroughs built America. In these spaces, movements took shape, strikes, marches, rebellions. Burroughs are where solidarity begins. Finished in our own apple brandy cask, this bourbon carries the spirit of folks who refuse to be erased. There we go. So I'm supporting two companies here that actually are out there trying to do the right thing. And they're risking their business by taking a stance, but they're willing to do so. Vanessa, hey, I'll post your comment there for a second there. How the heck are you? Oh, I will probably do my typical Tuesday thing and go back for a later video about 9:30 or so. But since I was actually planning on doing one, like I said, about 5:30, but got caught up doing other things, and oh yeah, let's go ahead. Anyways, I mean, I am off tomorrow. I'm typically off Wednesday, so I am off tomorrow. So I don't usually have two off in the middle of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday. My shirt says, "Just so we're clear, slavery is bad." I didn't wear it today. I'm hoping it would, I mean, it's not inherently political, but some may view it that way. I don't know if it helped, but I didn't get picked for a jury. So there you go. All right, let's launch it. I did have another one that I thought about wearing, but I didn't because that one is more It could be taken as political. Let's just say that it says what they call radical is just basic human decency. But I decided to wear this one because I mean, how can you really say slavery was good? You got to be a real racist. And I think they'd be more afraid of having those racists on the jury than me, but nevertheless, I am in a very red neck of the woods. That is a nice bourbon. That apple brandy finish is really nice. Gives you just that kiss, right? That little extra something up there, and then just that little hint of apple, sweet and tart note as well. Brad, if you're still there, Slancha. I'm having the Minocqua beer, and then these are products you want to seek out if you haven't already. They're not available here. I had to have them shipped to me, but their products are great and they're not that badly priced. And because I bought a set of 3 and the shipping was free on them, I got the Burrow Bourbon, their Fuck Around and Find Out Rye, and their Fascist Tears Vodka. All their products are rather good, and I know you would enjoy them for the products and for their story and what they're trying to do. At a time when people are trying to limit free speech. Oh, mercy. First beer of the day. Boy, that one does taste good. I don't know why I waited so long. I was going to have one earlier in the day, but then I started doing something else, and then I was going to have one, and then I started doing something else. I was looking up some different things, and I lost track of time. So, shit, let me get going here. Anyways, I'll probably have a cocktail a little bit later, but I wanted to start kind of pure with just a beer and some whiskey. Do this one quickly. I've actually sat on 2 trials, but I'm talking over a period of about, well, right at 30 years, actually. I think it was 95 or 96 when I did that. When I sat on my first one, it was a criminal trial, and I think it was, when did I sit on the other one? It's been about 2018, because I got called back for jury duty, I think in 21, and I didn't get picked for that one. I don't know. Anyways, I've done one criminal, one civil. And the civil, they actually voted me or made me the 4-person, which was interesting. It was a little bit like wrangling cats. Although we were all pretty much in agreement. The only thing we weren't in agreement of was the amount. The plaintiff had already won, per se, coming in. We were mostly, because, I mean, the other side was saying, well, we did this, but what we're disputing is the amount we owe. So that's really all we were there deciding, is how much they should get. But the plaintiff's attorney was so monumentally bad, and the other attorney was just good, to be honest with you. But the plaintiff's attorney was just so monumentally bad, and then they weren't exactly a credible witness for themselves either. It was kind of the problem is they were claiming they had these issues and these issues and these issues, but then they had a pattern of behavior that, well, that contradicted a lot of it. And I think what hurt their side the most is at the end of everything, and when everybody was a little perturbed with them anyway, is the attorney said the amount of money they wanted, and that just set a lot of folks off. Quite frankly, they would have been better off not declaring any amount, and they probably would have received a lot more than they did. But a lot of folks went into deliberation a little bit hacked off. I went in and I kind of tried to make a joke, and I said it was before that was voted the poor person. I made a joke. I said, okay, why do we say we just give her X amount and call it a day, or give them the X amount and call it a day? And a lot of the jury, I think there was 4 or 5 of them, maybe 6. Oh no, it's only going to be this amount. I won't approve more than this. So, oh shit. But the truth is, they probably would have got at least 10 times of what they ended up with if they didn't ask for any money to start with. Because that was a lot of the irritation was, oh no, there is no way. And then again, the attorney for the plaintiff was just so bad. He was so slow and plotting. He had what appeared to be a nice, rather expensive suit, but it wasn't tailored well. I mean, it looked like he had on his dad's suit. I mean, it was baggy, and I don't know if that's a style. I mean, the guy was about my age, so I don't know. I mean, but it appeared to be a very expensive suit, but it was just kind of hanging all over him. Well, like a cheap suit, I guess. But and then he walked very slow when he went to. I mean, every time you go to stand up, and then he just kind of shuffled. You know, he didn't really walk. He just kind of shuffled. His feet never actually got off the ground, and he just rubbed a lot of folks the wrong way. It took him forever to get to a point. Some folks in the jury going, oh, come on. And I have Tourette's, so I always have to declare that during selection that I have Tourette's, and then they can make the decision if they want to keep me or not. But because I've made that declaration, they know that certain sounds may be made, and every once in a while I would say something, or I mean, it was more of a vocalization. And the one person beside me and one person behind me, they both would chuckle every time I did, because it was always in, one of those moments when that attorney was really doing something that just didn't make any sense, or not believable. Maybe that was a better way to put that. Going, oh, I go, oh, fuck. One time I laughed and I didn't mean to, and I got some looks, but nothing was said to me. I got looked at. I can't remember what I did. I think it was just more of a groan, or just a vocalization. And the judge asked me if I was all right. I say it just comes out when I'm tired or stressed. He says, okay, so do you need a break? I said, no, we're good. So anyway, but they couldn't do anything about it, which could be why I haven't been picked for subsequent juries, because I don't know if they write notes. There may be something in my file. This guy will say stuff. Oh, mercy. I love after the trials, the judges will come in to talk to you, because there's always questions you have, but they can't answer them during the trial. And the judges will come out and talk to you. That's always my favorite part, is they'll kind of go over some things with you then, and they'll ask the last time they asked our thought process, and we kind of told them this was the situation. And he said, well, I kind of felt that's the way you were going by what I was seeing in the jury box, because there was a lot of strange looks and grimaces. And the criminal trial I did was interesting, because I was only maybe 31 at the time, so I wasn't very old. And then there was another guy that on the jury with me who was probably at least 20 years older, maybe more. But we kind of hit it off. We had some similar interests. We were both kind of, class clowns. But when they did the initial vote, there was 10 guilty, 2 not guilty, me and this other guy. We just so happened we were sitting by it, because neither one of us, we hadn't really discussed that. There was a vote, and nope. And the other 10 at that moment looked at us like, what is wrong with you people? And the first thing that I said was reasonable doubt. The judge said reasonable doubt. In this case, reeks of reasonable doubt. So I'm not going to tag a felony on somebody when there's this much reasonable doubt, and the attorney clearly didn't make the case. Well, he did this, clearly he's guilty. Well, again, this is the reasonable doubt that you seem to be ignoring. And quite frankly, I mean, I think a lot of it was due to the fact that, well, let's just say the color of his skin had a lot to do with it, and the other 10 pasty white folks, jury of this person's peers, were 12 mostly middle-aged white folk. I think there might have been one other, but I might have even been the youngest there at that time. But I actually stayed friends with that person for a short time, and we kind of lost contact because I moved away a couple years later. And when I got back, I think he was gone. But yeah, he was managing a theater in Branson, and a few months after that trial, we went up there and we visited his theater, and he came out and he remembered me, gave me a deal on a nice Stein. For the that time anyway, he was a manager for managing the theater for the Yakov Smirnoff show, and according to him, I don't know if this was true or not, but according to him, he did some writing for the show as well. Don't know that, but I will tell you, he was funny. He certainly had comedic timing. Well, we're really pissed off that room, though. I will tell you that the last vote taken, it was 7-5, not guilty, 5 guilty. So we made some headway, I guess. We, once folks, kept hearing what we saw as reasonable doubt, others. But I will be honest with you, those 5 that were going to vote guilty, there was nothing. There was no amount of anything we could have said to change their mind. They were clear this person was guilty. I mean, it just seemed. There was certainly some evidence, but again, reasonable doubt. There was just too much reasonable doubt. Most of the case was hearsay. Nobody actually saw anybody do anything. But this person heard this, and this person heard this, and yes, I'm not going to convict somebody. I'm not going to tag a felony on somebody on hearsay. And one person got really mad at me. She said, well, you should have told the judge that to start with. I said, the judge said it himself. And she looked at me and I said, reasonable doubt. He said, if you have reasonable doubt, vote not guilty. That's what I'm doing. I'm not sure why you can't. And boy, she was so mad at me. I thought she was going to come across the table. Said, I'm not sure why you can't see it. And then I called another jury member up too. So I mean, there was a strong chance somebody was looking for me in the parking lot after that trial. I have a way with people, man. I have a way with people. Kids, if you're still with me, I didn't see that earlier. Anyways, let me finish this up, wrap this one. I didn't want to actually run this one a little longer than I intended, but sometimes I get talking. And I will be back here after a while, though. I got to do a couple more things and get some things ready. I want to have a nice cocktail, but I just have some whiskey neat and a beer to start with. So anyway, here we go. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom and oh, mercy. I'm also Tom the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific drinker, purveyor of wisdom, all around good guy. Slush you. Oh, biscuits. Oh, excuse me. Hope I didn't get any on you.